And I remember just being like, make a decision, make a decision. But then it was like, in the way that one of the attorneys spoke so negatively about the opposing party.
Yep.
That is one of my pet peeves for judges. Nip that shit in the bud because all it does is just kind of radicalize the party. But this one attorney,
Yeah, that's true.
and she's a high asset attorney, she just talked about this woman as though she was a dog and just talked about how, there was argument about whether or not a state judge can order someone to sign a tax return without reviewing it. And it was just silly. You know what I mean? It was stupid.
Yeah. But I was looking at it, from the attorney's points of view. I didn't have I mean, they were advocating for their client. They were taking advantage of the forum where they were arguing. And I mean, yeah, you could see what was going on, but it was, to a certain extent, smartly played. I mean, it may not be the best game. It may not be the cleanest game to play, but as an advocate, if you have...
I'm going to go hard on the opposite side of that because as an advocate, what you're doing is you're increasing, there should a balance there, right?
Oh, there's definitely a balance. If you create if you increase the acrimony. So if the parties were there and that happened, like I always found, show my age, back when, for the first half of my practice, people mediated in the same room. The mediators would insist on it. It was awful. And you had people just started the mediation by, the attorneys would get to make a statement. And they would sit, the other attorney would badmouth your client, and immediately no one will settle. They're all dug in, and it was the dumbest thing. And I started insisting on mediating separately because of that. So I agree with you if they're sitting in the same room, but when you're sitting in front of a judge, that if you paint someone as the bad guy, they just get in their head that they're the bad guy and they start ruling that way. You kind of know how to manipulate that when you're the attorney in court. And the clients weren't sitting in there and weren't necessarily going to hear those comments. So I think that was for the specific audience.
Well, they're going to run home and tell their clients. But I think if attorneys are doing, I think that's unprofessional. I think it's borderline sanctionable. Because what the attorney is doing, though, is essentially testifying.